The point is that it's not fairness doctrine. It is now social justice. It is a civil right. It is knocking someone out of power and giving it to someone else. That's what's coming. And now FCC Commissioner Michael Copps wants broadcast stations to pass a public values test. They will have to pass it to keep their license, and if they fail, they'll go on probation. If there is no measurable progress, the station will lose its license, and the FCC will, quote, give the license to someone who will use it to serve the public interest, end quote. But who will decide which stations have made measurable progress? Who makes the decision on who to give the license to if the station isn't deemed of public value anymore? Is it just me? Or does this sound more and more like Venezuela's media system than America's? Al Sharpton is now out on the making the rounds on the front row, making the case that Rush Limbaugh, and no doubt others like me, need to be off the air.
Rush Limbaugh has the right to say whatever he wants to say. He does not have the right to do it, though, on publicly regulated airwaves. The FCC has a responsibility to set standards to say the public cannot be offended based on their race or their gender in this country.
Then he'd never be on TV because he offends me an awful lot. And I'm sure I offend him. You do have the right to say whatever you want. You also have the right to be offended. You don't have the right to never be offended. And not everybody wins. Not everybody gets a trophy at the end of the game. The FCC cannot regulate offensive language. If you were to discriminate based on race or gender, then you run afoul of the law. But now we're talking about never being offended. And who's going to decide what's offensive? How are we possibly going to solve any problems if we're never going to offend each other? They're coming now for talk radio and the internet, and I told you this was coming. Progressives desperately want to control what you see, what you read, what you eat, what you hear, what you watch, who lives and who dies. The structure is close to being finished and in place. Congress said no to net neutrality. So did the courts. But now the bureaucratic system is coming in to regulate it. Regulate. Who's the most dangerous man in America? Oh, yeah. Cass Sunstein, or czar of regulation. Can the FCC or the court overrule the American people? You'll find that answer in the 5,000-year leap. Read it. You must know these things. You must be self-reliant. You must unplug from the system as much as you can. And do not rely on others, including me, to tell you the truth.